Amanda. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. Today's video is going to be a video about Melt Cosmetics. We have the Rust palette that I hauled a little while back, and I just thought this color story is going to be gorgeous for fall, so I do want to create a fall inspired look using this palette. And I also picked up their new blush duos. I couldn't resist, and I figured it would be really fun to do some face swatches. I did face swatches of the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism palette, and hopefully it gives you guys an idea what they look like swatched on the arm but also applied. And I kind of want to see how closely related the ColourPop Good as Gold palette is to the Rust palette. Maybe it could be a dupe. I will leave my makeup reviews playlist to watch previous reviews, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and give this video a like. Let's create a look. Foundation is on, brows are filled in, and my eyes are primed with the Fenty primer. This is what the Rust palette looks like. I've only swatched in the Sephora haul where I picked this up, but since this is a dedicated video, I'm going to do swatches again. Classic, Antique, Erode, Rubbish, Tarnish. Rust, Redox, Mar, Ravage, Rot Squared. And this is the Rust palette swatched. And I'm just going to swatch the ColourPop Gold palette right underneath it. State of Mind, Digging You, Trooper, Bold Rush. $24K, Gilded, Gold Star, AU Team. Golden Touch, Nugget About It, Big Brooch, Let's Do It. And this is the Good as Gold palette swatched next to the Rust palette. The Good as Gold palette definitely leans more towards that gold side of things, but it also offers some of the deeper shades that the Rust palette also has. I mean, these are kind of close to each other. I think that this yellow pulls a little bit more mustard with some orange in it, where this shade in Good as Gold is a lot more yellow. And I think that these two shades were quite similar as well. There is a huge price difference between ColourPop and Melt. This Melt palette was closer to $60, while ColourPop is closer to $20. Melt, you get 10 shades, ColourPop, you get 12 shades. Based off the swatches, all of the shades had pigment all the way through. There's a lot more shimmers and foils in the ColourPop palette, whereas in Melt, we have 3 shimmers, which is about 1/3 of the palette. I personally like both of the color stories. I'm glad I have both in my collection, but depending on your needs, do you like more mattes? Do you like more shimmers and metallics? Which one caters more to your budget? Or whose formula do you prefer over the two? I've actually not used this ColourPop palette on my eyes before. It's only been swatched, because I have compared this to another palette. I just never got around to editing it, but I plan to eventually. Like, that one was pre-filmed months ago. Like, I think right at the start of quarantine. Yeah, it's been that long. I am also curious to see how Rust is going to perform. I hope it performs like Myrte. That is my favorite Melt palette to date. I'm still a little sad about Millennial Pinks because I loved that color story a lot. I did run into issues with that palette, unfortunately. With Millennial Pinks, some of the mattes were patchy, hard to blend out, and then some of the shimmers were just very underwhelming. These shimmers look stunning, so I have high hopes for this palette, and the reviews seem pretty promising on it as well. I think I'm going to start off with the shade Edge. There is a little bit of kick up when you dip your brush into the pan, and I am just going to place it right here all over. So far, I really like this shade. It does need to be built up a little bit, but I kind of expect that, it being more of a lighter shade. But I also like when my shades don't just bam pigment in your face when you apply directly to your eye. It allows you to build up to your liking. I really like this shade. It definitely screams fall to me. taking rubbish doesn't soil this, because I want to just slightly take rubbish to help diffuse any harshness I may have on the outer edges. I slightly want to deepen where the lid and crease meet with the shade Rust. Next, I'm going to take Redux for the eyelid. There is some fallout on the shimmer that I'm starting to see. And then for the outer portion, I'm going to take Ravage. I'm going to add some eyeliner to my lid and waterline. I'm going to take the shade Mar to smoke out the lower lash. And then let's take Tarnish for the inner corners. For lashes, I'm going to take these Cara Beauty ones. Before we swatch the blushes, quickly just want to recap about the Rust palette. I really enjoyed how Rust performed. It reminded me a lot of Myrte's qualities with regards to how the mattes blended out and the shimmers really being nice. I kind of wish there was a maybe yellow mustardy shimmer in this palette to complement that beautiful shade. I really like this side of the palette a lot. It definitely steals the show. If you are a neutral lover, I think you will really enjoy these. I had no issues blending out Mar on my lower lash line. It is quite dramatic. It definitely pulls a little bit more brown, and it looks like it might pull a little bit more reddish brown looking at it in the pan. These two shimmers right here are absolutely stunning together on the lids, but based off of first impressions, I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait to keep using it to create more fall looks. And now let's move on to the blushes. I'm going to do swatches on my arm and then also on my cheeks. And I know I already have foundation on, and I don't mind reapplying. I just feel like it will show up a little bit better with foundation on since I have natural redness, and I want to be able to get a little bit more accurate read of how it's going to look on my face with foundation on as opposed to no foundation. And this packaging is just so cute. I have not tried any of Melt's face products before, so this is my first time. The first duo is Buzz and Kill. Buzz, Kill. And this is Buzz and Kill swatch. These are so stunning. When I first saw these released, I thought they were going to be blush and highlighter duos. They're just blush duos. The shade Buzz, oh my gosh, we're going to be looking like Jigsaw, and I'm here for it. And these were almost too cute to swatch. Like, I don't want to ruin the little bee. Ooh. And this is just dipping my brush in one time and just swirling it out. It's beautiful just like that alone. But since we're a dramatic bitch, we are going to do it one more time. Also, I'm curious to see how these duos swirl together. Oh man, I'm obsessed. I think this is my new favorite blush shade, not gonna lie. Absolutely stunning, blends out very effortlessly. You don't even need to dip in twice. One was good enough. This one is going to be so nice for those no makeup or natural makeup looks. It's definitely not dramatic like its counterpart Buzz. Let's go in one more time just to see what 2 looks like. Also, in the past, this probably would have terrified me, but I am living for the more glowy and satin blush finishes. They're just absolutely stunning. Definitely is a little bit more dramatic with 2, and as much as I like a dramatic blush, I think I liked it more when it was just 1, because I think the point of it is to have that more natural blush flush to it. Both shades were absolutely stunning. I'll definitely get use out of both shades, but this is worth it alone just for Buzz. That's how much I really like this shade. The next duo is Queen and Bee. Queen, Bee. This is Queen and Bee swatch next to Buzzkill. And when I first saw this duo, I thought it was going to be a glowy bronzer duo. Low-key want them to expand on this line because A, it's cute, 2, these are swatching phenomenally. And I know it might be too premature since I've only applied one duo on my cheeks, but it performed so nice. So I hope that these 2 perform just as nice. I don't think I've ever tried like a bronzy shade of blush, but holy crap, is that pretty. It's just enough glow. Like if you wanted a nice summery glow, this is the blush shade right here. Wow, let's go in one more time. Even building it up a second time, it's not too overwhelming. I like this a lot. Wow, gives off such a pretty glow. It's almost as if it were a natural glow on the cheeks. Just ignore the texture that I have going on. To say the least, I am shooketh over these. A part of me almost passed up on these, but they were just too darn cute that I could not. The packaging in this imprint totally sucked me in. 10 out of 10 with the marketing and design. At first, I thought this one might pull a little bit more orange. I think this is my least favorite so far. I don't know if it's just not showing up that well on me or if it needs a third. Maybe it's where I'm angled at that I don't see like that glow. I'll notice it when I'm editing. So far in the swatch video, this is the only shade I've done 3 with. And the last duo is Raw Honey. Raw Honey. And these are all of the blushes swatched. I really like how Raw swatched. It kind of reminds me like of a mauve blush, and those have been some of my favorites lately. Like the Wet n Wild Chromie and My Melody blushes. Oh my gosh, obsessed with that one Chromie blush. We'll see how this one performs. Ooh, this is pretty. It's definitely going to need another swipe in. But it's not as mauve-y as I thought it would be, but man, is that gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. And it's emphasizing all the texture. And for a blush shade to be this deep and not being as terrifying applied on the cheeks, I really like that. I even think it can go up one more. Let's just, for the heck of it, do a third dip in. Yeah, even a third. Not that terrifying. Still stunning. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot. And let's take Honey for the last swatch. This one I expect it to be super light on me. Yeah, it's definitely glowy. It's hard to see the pigment though. It's definitely emphasizing the texture though. So after swatching and applying these duos third time, by the way, one side is more dramatic and the other side is more natural. I did not swirl any of them together. 3 dips. Perfect amount for this to be on the more dramatic side. Otherwise, it is just another very gorgeous, more natural blush. If you're into glowy blushes, these are going to be right up your alley. I know I'm so excited to use all of them individually with different looks. I am definitely impressed with all these. So I think out of all the duos, my favorite one is the first one that we actually swatched, which is Buzzkill, which is funny to me because thinking that this one might pull a little bit more orange since it is on the peachier side, it was just absolutely stunning, and by itself it's just gorgeous, and then you can build it up to be a little bit more dramatic. And then I also liked its counterpart a lot that was more on the natural side. I see myself going through this one the fastest just because these shades call me, and I see myself wanting to constantly reach for this. And then coming in second place, I think it's going to be the last duo that we swatched, which was Raw and Honey. I really liked how Raw is by itself. It's absolutely stunning, and you can go in a second time to be more dramatic like how I am. And then the counterpart wasn't bad. It just felt like with just one swipe in, not enough pigment for me, but on swipe 2 and 3 is when I started to notice the pigment building up a little bit more. So it is a nice, beautiful shade. It's just I'm gonna have to work for the pigment to my liking. And then coming in third would be Queen and Bee. I really liked how Queen looked on me. I think just I needed to see it in the right angle and lighting to see what Bee actually looks like on me. I'm still just kind of chuckling how I can just see Honey showing up a little bit better on me than Bee did, because Bee definitely looks like it has a little bit more richer pigment to it compared to it. I would love to know if you picked up either the Rust palette or any of the blush duos. What looks have you created with Rust? I would love to know your favorite color combinations in the comments below. And if you picked up the blush duos, which ones did you pick up, or did you pick up all 3 like I did? Let me know what your favorite shade is, and if you tried swirling them together, how is your experience with that? If you don't own any of these Melt products, let me know what your favorite ones are in the comments below. I know I have my eye on a couple of things from Melt, like Gemini and Smoke Show, and are you guys looking forward to Melt's next release? Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and if you don't, I appreciate your view anyways, and I'll see you in the next video.